Alright everyone, I would do the fuck you I was right chair spin like Razorfist does, but I don't exactly have enough room for that at the moment. Got to change the office layout a little bit. John Roberts. I've heard so many conservatives refer to him as a conservative. He's a conservative justice. He's a principled man. Strategically intelligent? Yes, absolutely. I admit to that. Legally intelligent? Yeah, he's got an encyclopedic knowledge of the Constitution. He just doesn't really apply it. That's the whole problem. He comes out, link in the description, archived of course, and he reminds people, well, you know, every administration suffers defeats in the court, and the Trump administration will be no different. So, you know, it's basically a shot across the bow when you think about it. Why is it that Bush-appointed so-called conservative, so-called Republican John Roberts never said jack shit like that about Joe Biden? When Joe Biden was first inaugurated, did John Roberts come out and say, well, you know, your administration's going to suffer some defeats? It happens with every administration. Now, did the administration suffer defeats? Yes, but not because of principle. It was because the Biden administration was trying to ingratiate itself to the far left for political reasons, knowing that it would lose those cases and could cast the Supreme Court off as a far-right edifice. John Roberts did nothing. He said nothing with regards to this. The fact is, George W. was just a unipartyist. John Roberts is a unipartyist. Now, the Trump justices are, and Clarence Thomas, as a rule, generally good. John Roberts has never been a principled conservative. When liberals say, well, he sided with the evil right wing on this issue, he's a far-righter, I can only chuckle. I'm like, no, he's more of an opportunist. He likes to grandstand and shit like that. Wish he weren't the Chief Justice, by the way. Be better if it were it'd be better if it were Kavanaugh or something like that. Yeah, Clarence Thomas is Chief Justice. That'd be much better. John Roberts is showing his true colors here. With the Biden administration, uniparty, left-ish, and so a Democratic Party, and supposedly he's a Republican. He says nothing. He'll issue an opinion now and again saying, well, no, you're not actually, Mr. Biden, the Supreme Court has ruled you're not actually allowed to give aid to restaurants based on the color of the owner's skin. But that's a no-brainer. Effectively, he's warning the incoming Trump administration that he intends to attempt to impede them. That's what he's doing. Well, you know about that deportation, it might be a little bit problematic. Well, your tax cuts, maybe they're unconstitutional, we want to tax people more because of some arcane law from 1812 or something like that. This is John Roberts' way of showing his true colors. He's warning the incoming administration. This is something that was never done to the prior administration again, by the way. I find this very telling. I'll still get people, by the way, who will say that I'm wrong. No, John Roberts is a conservative. He's a conservative justice. No, he's not. He's a unipartyist. He was appointed by the head neocon himself. Bush was the second worst president in the last 100 years. And unless you count, let's say, when was Wilson president? He would be definitely up there. So maybe the third worst, but so we'll give him credit for that. Third worst president in the last 100 years. Do you think that the Chief Justice that he appointed really is going to do a good job? Effectively, he'll rubber stamp things when he knows that he can't obstruct them. But he's now warning the Trump administration he intends to do everything in his power to obstruct at the judiciary level. Again, something that was not done to the Biden administration. Was there an obstruction of the most blatant abuses? Yes. Was there any significant judiciary obstruction of lesser offenses that nonetheless were clearly illegal? No. Was there any significant obstruction of the censorship regime that was built by the Biden administration? No. It was never allowed before the Supreme Court. Roberts effectively nixed it. So it's very, very telling that he would come out and effectively warn the Trump administration that he intends to obstruct them. You can expect judiciary obstruction. Trump has two problems right now. The first is House Republicans, not the Democrats. They don't have the votes. House Republicans revolting and refusing to pass his measures. And secondly, apparently a hostile judiciary. So he's got two big problems on his hands. This is why I warn people. Donald Trump, I think, will be successful in certain ways. On diplomacy, I think he'll do well. He can do that unilaterally. He's the commander-in-chief. On the wall, he's got a federal court decision already backing him. It's not going to go before SCOTUS anyway. He can build his fucking wall. On crime, there are certain executive actions he can take with regards to that, and the Republicans will never dare to stand in the way of any tax cut so he can get that through. Beyond that, everything is going to be an uphill goddamn battle. And it looks like John Roberts is going to be one of the main antagonists in this particular case. This doesn't surprise me, though. I warned people about him fucking years ago. Like, well, he's part of the Republican majority. No, he's not a principled conservative. You're getting it completely wrong. Ideologically speaking, he's more of a liberal. He's on the liberal side. The pivot of the court right now is Brett Kavanaugh, if you can believe it or not. This is partially by design, and partially because of who appointed John Roberts. It was George W. Yeah, a real conservative. I gave people $300 as a stimulus check. Otherwise, I pretty much just waged war my entire presidency and made people afraid and passed the Patriot Act to pass more censorship laws and shit like that. Basically, I call it Bush-Obama because Bush and Obama are inseparably related ideologically. Other than that Obama preferred to give the stimulus to corporations instead of to private individuals. Not that it stimulated anything, of course. Yeah. John Roberts, showing his true colors. Real cool. That's about all. Peace out.